Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Tia, and I'm back with another word for y'all. I'm not going to be on here very long, but I just wanted to jump on here for just a minute because I have made a commitment to be more consistent with my YouTube page and my content. That is something that the Lord has been dealing with me on, and I have low-key been tussling with him about it. But I don't want to fight no more. Okay? I don't want to fight no more. And I also know that somebody else's breakthrough is always tied to my obedience. And so I want to start showing up, and I want to start being as transparent as possible. And I'm not going to lie, I struggle with that because oftentimes I have so many things that are in the way of me actually getting on camera, getting on YouTube. And often I look at everybody else's pages and I see their aesthetic, and I see everybody all made up and their hair is perfect and they got their makeup on. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just not a makeup girly every day. I love getting dressed up. I love, putting on makeup, but I don't do that on a regular day. And so sometimes I struggle with like, okay, I got circles under my eyes, or I look tired, or my edge is a little frizzy, or whatever the case is. And it hinders me from actually showing up and doing what I know that I'm supposed to be doing. And so I said, you know what, today I'm just going to get on here fresh off of work, a little bit tired, but I'm going to do what thus saith the Lord. And I've been feeling very, very strong in my spirit that I just have to show up more, and that if I take one step, God is going to do the rest. And so I feel like that message is for somebody on here today that needs to hear that if you take one step, God will do the rest. You do not have to compare yourself to anybody else. You do not have to compare yourself to anybody else's journey. It might not look like everybody else's, but it's not supposed to look like everybody else's. There is a target audience. There is a group of people that are assigned to you, and they are attracted to you because you remind them or have qualities that remind them of them. And I don't want to miss an opportunity to show up for the people that I know are assigned to me in this season, because I'm worried about my edges not being completely laid, or looking a little bit tired from being at work all day serving God's people in ministry. And also, comparison is a thief of joy. My story is not like nobody else's, so my outcome is not going to look like anybody else's. My aesthetic is not going to be like anybody else's. My testimony is not like anybody else's, and I can't allow that to hinder me from walking into what God has for me and walking in obedience, because I'm comparing mine to other people's. And comparison often leads us into idolatry. It leads us into self-sabotage. It is not of God. And so I'm going to make a commitment to be here more presently, other than just, Wednesday night Bible study and things like that, because I know that God is doing something with this YouTube page. And I know that God is doing something with me in this content creating realm in this season that I need to be present for. I have also struggled with trying things and it not working, or me not getting the outcome that I expected to get. And so sometimes defeat will get in the way of me showing up authentically. And I'm just here to tear down those barriers and tear down those walls. And I know that I overthink things as well. And I feel like that is a message for many of you. Don't let your overthinking punk you out of the promise, because there are always a million things that could go wrong. There are always a million things that you can think of that can keep you from getting the desired outcome. But as long as you are showing up and you are being authentically who God has called you to be, and you are doing what God has called you to do, you will always win. You will always come out on top. You never know what message you have for somebody that they are waiting to hear. You never know what product you are going to create that is the answer to somebody's prayer. You never know how God is going to move. But I know when he moves, we have to move too. And sometimes he won't move until we move. And so you know, I've wrestled with this YouTube thing for a while, and I've had subscribers and I've had people unsubscribe, and I've had, you know, just different things. And I know that there are going to be ebbs and flow and all of that. But I know one thing for sure is I feel called to do this. And so I'm going to show up. And so the message for you today is, don't let overthinking punk you out of the process. Don't let overthinking punk you out of the promise. Don't let overthinking punk you out of your assignment and what is attached to your assignment, because the enemy will always create a laundry list of things that can distract you, destroy, and detour you from what God is calling you to do. And it is just that, it is a distraction. Me worried about not having on a full face of makeup, or my hair not being perfect, or not having the perfect outfit is a distraction from what God has called me to do. It's a distraction from the messages that God gives me. Even overthinking what the message is, it's a distraction. And so we cannot afford to be distracted in this season. We cannot afford to be so focused on the aesthetic and what everything looks like. We cannot afford to be delayed in our obedience, because delayed obedience is still disobedience. And I don't want to keep going back to the beginning, because I keep interjecting my own human thinking into things. I don't want that for you either. So the message for today is to stop overthinking and do not allow it to punk you out of the promise and punk you out of the process. All you have to do is heed to the Holy Spirit and show up. Whatever God has put in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit for you to do, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have everything figured out. All you have to do is be obedient. You take one step, He will take the next step. You take one step, He will direct you to where your next step will be. It's literally like a GPS. You may not be able to look at the whole trip and know exactly where you're going to go, but you know that you depend on that GPS to instruct you and direct you step by step, turn by turn, exit by exit. And you follow that. And you know that if you follow your own direction, thankfully the GPS will reroute you and redirect you. God is the same way. God will reroute you and He will redirect you. But in this season, God is calling for us to obey the first time. It's our job to lean into the voice and the promptings and the instruction of the Holy Spirit, so that we do not have to keep having to go back to the beginning and start over and continue to start from scratch and continue to lean to our own understanding. So I encourage you today, whatever it is that God is putting on your heart to do, whatever it is that He has shown you that you are supposed to be doing in this season, whatever that may be, I encourage you to begin to take the steps, to begin to take the leap of faith, to begin to operate in obedience. Remove the obstacles, remove the barriers, remove all of the what ifs, all of the overthinking, all of the distractions, and press toward the mark. Because I am so sure that our breakthrough is tied to our obedience, but also that someone else's breakthrough is tied to our obedience. And you might not have it all figured out, and that's okay. We don't have to have it all figured out. That's not how God works. God does not give us instruction and then show us the whole plan. God gives us bit by bit, detail by detail, instruction from instruction from instruction. He does not give us everything all at one time, because He knows that our small human minds cannot handle it. So if you are in a position where you are wondering, what is next? What are you doing in this season, God? How are you using me? What is happening? I just don't know. I'm confused. I just don't have the information that I feel like I need to move forward. You are in the perfect place, because you do not have to have all the information. All you have to have is obedience. Don't let the enemy punk you out of what God has for you. Okay? I hope this message resonates with you. I did what I was supposed to do. And I am praying that you get the strength and the courage to do what God is calling you to do as well. Please take a moment and subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this with somebody that might need it. But just know that there is so much in store for you, but it is going to require you to take a leap of faith, and it's going to require you to walk by faith and not by sight. And it is going to require you to be obedient, even in the midst of the unknown. Okay? All right, y'all. That's all I got for you today. I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.